Welcome back to Max's Garage Mahal. Today we're going to do a little educational program here for you, and that is, well, actually it's entertainment. It's not really so much educational. You ever had one of these milk house heaters, or if that part, you might have had pretty much any of these kind of little heaters, that electric heaters, that says does not run, needs thermostat, Well, 99% of the time, that's the problem. Well, that's my number, not the world's number. But that's generally what I find every time I see one of these things that's not operating, is the thermostat's going bad, which is actually the switch as well down here. This turns it from, this makes the heat elements go on or off. That's all this does. And this one over here is the later model, which I don't care for as much because you can't use it just as a fan. You can use this as a fan or a heater. So I'm going to show you what I did to make these work. One of these, and I don't remember which one it was, I did it earlier this week. I again went to try to find and buy some of these thermostats, and this is patent brand. You pretty much always see these in any Walmart you go to around the world, but now they've changed the label, but the parts all interchange. On most of those milk house heaters they have at Walmart, all they've done is just relabel. Now, with that said, I'm going to pop this thing apart, and I'm not sure which one has got the, I'm not kidding you, one of these has got a thermostat in it where one of the point contactors, and if you're not familiar with points, and a lot of you won't be, points are like this. They are contactors, and they go together. When they're together, power passes through them. When they're apart, no longer can pass through. Alright, it's called a contactor. So let's pop this one apart. I've actually got it plugged in, and I'm going to show you. Alright, that's off. Now it's on. Apparently the ceiling is 67 degrees. And that is, I ran it just a minute ago, that is 70, that thing is fast. Okay, let's see if I can do this where you can see it. Doubt if you can, but I'm going to try it. Alright, the metal is now 83 degrees. Alright, now here's the problem. I'm trying to get you to see that with the heater on, so bear with me. Mr. Cameraman, help me out here. Oh, I am Mr. Cameraman. Alright, let's see here. 145, 144, 193. Alright, so that was 193, and I'm sorry if you couldn't see that. I was trying. It still says 185, so it's cooling down pretty quick. Okay. So what I'm going to do, now that it's good and hot, and I get to handle it, I'm going to unplug it. Alright, it's unplugged, good and warm, just the way we like them, too hot to touch. Okay, so I've got something here that might interest you if you're as old as I am, even if you're not. This is one of the first electric screwdrivers. This is a Black & Decker, or I'm sorry, a Skill. And they called it a Skill Twist. Man, I'll tell you what, I own about 6 of these in my machine shop. Every table had one that did any disassembly that used Phillips flat blade or hex or Torx bits. These things are great. I converted this one from the old 4.8 volt, I think it was, big old solid nickel cadmium battery, to a single 18650. Make sure you how to do that, because I'm doing another one over there now, and I probably will be cutting out part of the grip on either side to do a double battery rather than a single. But as you can hear, the sucker gets it now, but the battery doesn't fit well in there because it's so much smaller. But this battery is so much more powerful. I should have taken this apart, but hey, you know how my videos go? As most of you are going to say, well, he talks too much. That's fine. You used to tell me I didn't talk enough. That was fine. Then you got to tell me I'm put too much information in. That didn't make sense because this is an informational channel. So just bear with me here and let me knock some stuff over. And I hope I can find my screws I just knocked over off the deal here, because you got to have them put it back together. And y'all know y'all got to see the back of my head at least once during these videos, and that way I get to enjoy it too when I edit them, put them together, put the pieces together. So here we go. All right, right in here. Let me see if I can get you all zeroed in there. I know that's not the correct terminology, but what do I care? It don't pay a whole lot to tell you all this stuff. So, all right, right in here is the switch right here, and it has a weight on it, or a momentum switch, and as this tilts forward, then it opens up the points. So this particular switch, I'm going to whoop that thing out of there and show y'all how I did this, because this is the one that was burnt completely in two, and I don't have a pair of pliers. I cleaned off my bench a while ago. Bear with me, I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I didn't lose my zoom in there, so all I need to do is loosen that so I can get it turned with my fingers. And I'll have this thing ready to pop out here in a moment, maybe. Yeah, this is one of the threads weren't real good shape on. I don't know why, but I remember when I took this apart, it was all cross-threaded. I like never got it back on there. But hey, y'all don't care if I get a struggle at all, do you? Okay, now I'm going to turn this around and show you something. You've only got two wires going here. Basically all you're doing is making a connection here. So let me pull that off. Let me see if I can show y'all what I did here and what I used. Because, let me see, I'm going to sit down here where I can start looking at the monitor. Y'all close enough now to hear me breathe again, ain't you? Alright, do you see? Yeah. Do you see right in here, right in there, between the two contactors, there's a gap. Alright, now, if you turn this screw right here, that causes, and this is up like that, this has to be vertical. And if it's not, what's going to happen is it's going to, let me get out here, get you focused again here. Alright, there you go. Now then, if you let this down, oh, there you are. If I let that weight down or go forward, either one, that opens your gap right in there. Try to get where you can see that gap. And if this weight moves back to where it would be like this, then it closes up the contactors. Now, this thing, if you look real closely, see if I can get where you can see it. It is, there's a hole. There's a hole right here, burned plumb through this bimetal spring. So what this is, what this material is right here, to make, right in there, to make that contact, as you see, it comes over and down on the inside. So all I did was, let me back you back out. I ain't got no gas in it. Alright, so what I did was, is I took piece of material right here, and all this is one of those paper folds that you can put like a piece of paper in, and it clamps over it, and it in other words, it holds these clear page viewing things. So all I did is I took a pair of pliers like this, and then I made sure it was square with the tip of the plier, and I bent it like that. Now I would not do this at home. This is entertainment purposes only. This is theory. This is all this is testing theory. So don't do this at home. Just because I'm stupid don't mean you should be. And you know what they say about electrical heaters? Don't run them if you're not there with them. I agree with that. Alright, so you're going to do that again. And I think I had to do it. I think on this particular one it required 3 bends. You see how thick that's getting to be. It's not very thick at all. And I'll tell you what, if my hands is getting wider. Alright, so if it requires it, then just bend it again. And bend it back on itself. Like that. I like to make sure they're square. Bend it back on itself until it's super tight, back in a good contact. And then all you need to do is bend it over, then to go over the vertical part of the point contactor, and then when you get it where you need it, tighten it up until it's there. So you can start in about like that. Then you're going to cut off this piece, and most likely your point contactor is not going to be burned to where it's got a 1/4 inch wide gap right in here. So I've got this one sitting here at an angle in order to find some material to contact to. So I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to get out of my way and yours too. But anyway, it works really well. So now that was the one right there that everything was intact, but when you watch everyone else's videos, they're going to tell you these points get dirty. Well, dirty is really what they're probably meaning to say, and I don't want to put words in anybody else's mouth, but what they're probably trying to say is that as the points make contact and electricity goes through, they try to weld themselves together, so they get little burrs and little stalactites on them, and so they get little jagged places like tips of your fingers. So when they make contact and that gets to be carbonized, then it no longer really wants to contact, so or carry electric. So what you have to do, pretty simple stuff. Actually, it's not. It's pretty. You have to really be a detailed person on a lot of these things, but all you need is a simple little 2-sided file. Something similar to this, and you're going to go in there and you're going to pull these 2 pieces here, these 2 uprights together, and you're going to file these things till they lay flat. Now, probably what's going to happen, these things are so sensitive, they're not really going to lay flat when they contact, when you get them to make contact. So what you're going to want to do is what I did with this one over here, is I took this one right here, and I bent this inward right here and reformed it to put more pressure. When this switch is wide open, I put more pressure on this blade, pushing on this, so you want to make sure at that point in time you have those parallel. I went in here and I changed and reformed this middle blade, which is your grounding blade, and I reformed that so that when it's all said and done, they're trying to just shove one out the other side. They're fighting each other, trying to really hug up, kiss on each other, to the point that they are really tight. And then at that point, you want to make sure that those contactors are nice and square. So once you've done that, then reinstall it, hook your 2 wires up, put your nut on, get your hands out of the way, put the cover back on temporarily, put a couple of screws in, plug it in the wall, turn it on. If it works, fine. If it doesn't, if it's sparking, it's not really getting enough pressure on those points, unplug it from the wall, pop the back off, keep adjusting it and making sure your point contacts are good and smooth and burr free, and then keep readjusting them until they make real good solid contact. And at that point in time, unless there's something wrong with the burning element or the fan, your little heater will go back to working. Now if you got a diode that goes out on some of these things, I've got a thermostat type diode, or resistor I guess it is. If those go bad, you'll have to replace that. I had to replace one on a heater in my own house. So when you do these things, just go through and analyze the problem, fix the problem. Don't fix anything else, nothing else wrong with it. Make sure you clean them up inside and outside, put them back together, and you should be able to run. Hope that was informational, entertaining, and but don't do this at home now. I'm telling you, don't you do it. Nope, don't you do it. If you do it, let me know how it works out. And just remember, when you tell me you did it and it works, just tell me you was entertained, because I know you ain't going to use that as a heater. All right, we appreciate you guys watching. If you got anything out of this, please give us a thumbs up. And if you didn't, I'd appreciate if you did anyway. And hit that subscribe button, hit that little notification bell down there. And share these videos if you would. We can use all the shares and all the views we can get, all the likes. And we appreciate it. As we always say here at Max's Garage Mahal, y'all come back see us now, yep? Okay, it just came to my mind. I know that there's going to be some of y'all going to say, well, we didn't get to see it run again. Because you put it back together, but we don't know that it still works. All right, how's this? All right, let's get this digital electro thermometer out here. Alright, I'm going to let it run for a second. And that thing cools too fast. It was a little over 200 degrees that time. Okay, there you go. All you naysayers, it works. Oh, thank you very much.
Tell me true.